Okay. All right, recording started. All right, guys, what's up, everybody? In case you don't know, my name is Tanner Larson, and welcome to the Mech.Game AMA, right? We're going to be catching up with everything and giving you an update on the world of mech and what we've been up to, what we've been doing. It's been a little while since our last live AMA.
Pills.
Hang on, guys, got to stay on mute if you're in here.
And alcohol.
I'm gonna, who is that? Where do I find it? Hey, whoever's drinking and talking, you're not on mute. Okay. Guys, if you're not,
To alter my brain chemistry to an acceptable.
Okay, so we're going to be kicking this off. And everything we're going on through today, guys, is all about where we're at, what's been happening, what we're working on, what the game is looking like, the game release schedule. We'll talk about staking. We'll talk about strongholds. We'll talk about the game, iOS, Android, all those different things, okay? What's really cool about this AMA, guys, is we've got other team members on here from the Mech.Game team. We're going to have Mr. Takimura, who is CEO of Platinum Egg, the game studio. We're going to have Jarvis, who's you guys know from our Asian expansion team, and Jarvis is now partnered with Mech exclusively, and we're building a new company together. We've got Lorenzo. Lorenzo is one of the game leads on the Mech game development through Platinum Egg, and they're going to be talking to you guys about a whole bunch of different stuff. So as we go through, we're going to be bringing them on. They're going to be telling you what's up. So I know some of you guys really, really love hearing me talk all the time, but you're going to have to hear someone else for a change, right? So it won't just be me the whole time. And so a couple updates on my end, then we're going to go ahead and let Jarvis jump in and start doing what he's got. First and foremost, let me share my screen real quick. Right here. So we've started updating the white paper. Okay, with the new stuff. If you go to whitepaper.mech.game, or you go to the Mech.Game website and go to the Mech.Game website and click on white paper under documents, it'll take you guys here, and you can see a lot of the new updated stuff, and it expands down and explains all the different pieces. You'll see the new stuff about how the game is going to work, the game modes, everything. We're still adding more to it, but you can get a good overview here. I highly recommend after the AMA or later, after you've heard what we're talking about, jump over here to get another look at what's going on, okay? Also, exciting news, the floor price is now over half an ETH, right? So remember, launch was at 0.2. So we're at 0.5 now. So we're definitely looking pretty good. That's nice. And it's not, we moved one sale and then we're moving up to 0.69, 0.79. So the floor is climbing. And as we announce this AMA, the stuff that's coming out in this AMA, the next version of the game release, plus the additional Mech Genesis Mech perks that we're going to be releasing over time, this floor is about to go through the roof. Okay, so pretty exciting to see this, especially with the way the market has just been so down. And obviously the floor did dip pretty low during the scariness when the market was really crashing, and then now it's started to climb back up. So this is good news. And Pathos, nice job if you're on here, because you swept the floor of the last low-priced mech the other day, or this morning, or whenever that was. So nice. So that's awesome. Okay, so those are the two big things there. Let me stop sharing my screen now. You guys can just look at me now. Okay, so with that, the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was the website. The new website, I gave you guys a few sneak peeks of the new website and an announcement a little while ago. That is almost done. The design is finalized. They're doing the hard coding now, and they're telling us we're going to have the new website live in about a week or so. I showed it to the mods the other day. And they loved it. It's going to be very descriptive. It's all game focused, not NFT focused. Of course, there's NFT stuff in there, but it's all about the game, what we're doing with it, how it's being developed, and all of that. One of the really exciting things that's happening is obviously we have a new team structure. As we're going to get into that, I introduced Jarvis, Mr. Takimura, Lorenzo. Jeremy's still on the team. We've got Shotaro and a bunch of other people who are helping us with the game as well. Jarvis and I are in the process of forming a Dubai corporation. We're going to be running the Mech.Game infrastructure out of Dubai. And we also have a partnership, which we can talk about in a later one, but will allow us to have a crypto gaming license in partnership with the Filipino government. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we're doing in that. Along with that, and one of the reasons that we're doing this, and this is not the focus of today's AMA, but just to let you guys know, there's a lot of things in the works. Mech.Game has grown, even though the game hasn't been released yet, we have become way more than a game company. Okay. And with the stuff that Jarvis and myself have been working on, and the rest of the tech team as well, we have, in order to bring Mech.Game to the market in the way we want, and with the mobile and all the new tech and all of that stuff, we've actually developed some very exclusive and proprietary technology, some of which Jarvis is going to talk about today. And what's really evolving is that we are coming into an infrastructure company as well. Okay, Mech.Game's, the stuff powering Mech.Game is a platform-based technology in multiple different formats, multiple different types of exclusive smart contracts and things like that, that nobody else in the gaming world has. And we are building it in such a way that we'll be able to license, sell, rent, productize these platforms and make them available to other games and other companies out there as part of our bigger growth plan. So Mech.Game is still the main focus, but the infrastructure piece is a very big play, especially when it comes to gaming and the fact that we've bridged the gap between mobile gaming and blockchain, which has not been done. Okay. And as an aside from this, because the infrastructure really has nothing to do with the traditional Mech.Game world. However, Genesis Mech holders, if you own a Genesis Mech, are going to have some exclusive opportunities as this thing's progress. So there's nothing to talk about today on it, but just know that you're really going to want to own Genesis Mechs for the access it's going to give you and the opportunities it's going to open up for you as we expand into the infrastructure space and making our technology, our exclusive and proprietary technology available to other people. Okay, so very, very cool. Okay, and yes, I am keeping the secrets for sure this time. You guys know I always get in trouble for spilling the beans too much, but no, I'm going to be good this time. So we're going to be talking about a bunch more stuff in detail. Jarvis has a whole slide deck prepared to take you through the game and stuff. Another piece is we're going to be talking about showing you how the currencies in the game work. And if you go to the white paper, I've written those out. So if you don't quite get it here, it's not the end of the world. Go look at the white paper. It'll make sense. But things have to be done slightly differently in the mobile world. In our currency standpoint and the types of currencies in the Mech.Game ecosphere, ecosystem, you're going to have things called credit points. You're going to have credit tokens. You're going to have Mech tokens. And you're also going to have metal or O-R-E, metal. And then you're going to have crystals. Okay. And all of them have a different function inside of the game. They're all broken down in the white paper. We'll be talking about them here as well. But the main three that we're going to talk about right here, just as a real brief overview, is the relationship between credit points, credit tokens, and Mech tokens. Okay. Mech tokens, as you know, are the governance token. It's a finite supply, 100 million tokens. That's it. And it is going to be the cash value token in the Mech ecosphere. That's the one that'll be available on the exchange. It'll have the governance aspect of it as well. Then we'll have the credit token, which is an uncapped token, which is burned and minted as needed in the game. Okay. And now credit tokens can be exchanged at a dynamic exchange rate for Mech tokens. Okay, that's one. Again, more of this will be covering out later, but just to give you a basic understanding. And then if we back up one more layer, there are credit points. Credit points are the same thing as credit tokens. However, in mobile gaming, we cannot issue tokens in a mobile game. Okay, that's still not allowed. There's a whole bunch of legal ramifications of doing it that way. So in the game, while you're playing on mobile, you're going to earn credit points. And then those credit points will be converted through your website account or your gamer's account. You can convert them into credit points, or excuse me, from credit points into credit tokens. Okay. Yes, Bill, another win there. No gas fees going from credit points. So you earn the credit points. They get converted into credit tokens, which can then be used for in-game purchases and all of that kind of stuff. And then if you want, they can be converted into Mech tokens at a dynamic exchange rate, which will be explained more and more later. Is this making sense so far, guys? This is really, really cool stuff. And yes, good points from Bill. He goes, also makes it really easy for us to help onboard non-crypto people because we're not dealing with tokens right away. And that's correct. Remember, we still have a free-to-play side of the game. That's a very big focus for us. Once we launch the official game and everything's stable, we will be trying to grow the game through mobile with the free-to-play side, bringing in free-to-play players where they can get an experience playing the game. They can learn how much money they could have earned if they were playing on the play-to-earn side. And then they can have the option of buying a mech outright, or more likely, the baby step plan is they come in for free, then they like it, they want to start earning, then they go rent a mech and they rent it off the marketplace, and then they start renting. And then if they decide to, at that point, they could stay a scholar, or they could buy their own mech. So that's kind of the three-pronged approach there. This is a mobile game, okay? We'll talk more about that later as we go. Any questions specific to what I just went over, or are we good to keep rolling? If we're okay to keep rolling, just say keep on, or keep going, or go, or something along those lines. Give me something. All right, we're going to keep on going. And yes, Jamie, yeah, a lot of people are excited about the free-to-play side of a blockchain play-to-earn game, because normally you don't get a chance to experience something like that if you're not paying. And the free-to-play allows people to do that while not hurting the game. Plus, on the free-to-play game side, there's still revenue opportunities for the game to help the game treasury, because people can use their credit cards to make in-game purchases on the free-to-play side as well. Okay, so remember, we're building out multiple revenue streams to be a stable gaming company, not a, you know, flash in the pan blockchain game, play to earn game that just lives for 2 to 3 months and then crashes. Okay, we want something stable with a long-term game plan, right? Okay, so we still have staking in the works and a couple other things. That there's a bit of a, you know, some legal issues, as you guys know, with making sure we dot our I's and cross our T's and make sure that's good. All the staking will be released with the gameplay, so you'll get all your backdated earnings from staking at that time. We'll have more updates on that coming up very soon, around like the 10th or so of the month of next month, or this month now, October, this coming month. So don't worry, you haven't seen your staking rewards. That's okay. Remember, we backdated them, so everybody's getting grandfathered in and backdated on their staking from the beginning, and you're going to get them in one lump sum inside your account when you create your account on the gaming server and connect. Okay, so all of that's going to be taken care of. All right. At this point, I'm done talking for right now. What I want to do is I want to introduce Jarvis and have Mr. Jarvis hop on and let you guys see him for a change. So guys, you guys have heard me talk about Jarvis a ton. The mods have gotten to talk on the phone with him a few times, but understand Mr. Jarvis is in Japan right now, or actually he might be in Japan right now. He goes all over the world, but he also spent a lot of time in the States. We met through Mech, but he reached out to me because it turns out with my e-commerce business, Build, Grow, Scale, I had a product called Ecom Insider. It was a magazine, and Mr. Jarvis actually was a customer of that magazine years back. And one of the things that kept him like interested in what we were doing was he knew the fact that he was in Japan and the magazine was only costing him like 20 bucks, and it cost me more to ship him the magazine in Japan than he paid me for the magazine. And we still did it because it was, you know, that was our business. And through that, Jarvis kind of kept an eye on what I was doing. And when my name popped up again, we reconnected, and, you know, turns out we had a little bit of history. So that was really cool. Jarvis is big in the tech space. He's a trader, but he also has a lot of blockchain connections, partnerships in all kinds of different tech, including platforms, exchanges, development teams, all kinds of things like that. He's all over the place with really cool tech. And so Jarvis came into Mech. Obviously, you guys heard how that worked. But recently, Jarvis and I have been working very closely together, and we actually decided to form this new company in Dubai, where Jarvis and I are partners in it, to develop Mech.Game to the fullest, because we've seen so much potential in doing it. And then also through that, we've been able to develop these proprietary technologies, which are going to obviously help Mech.Game, but they're going to allow us to just tap into this gaming ecosystem and really bring new stuff that was never available to the blockchain market, now available to gaming and blockchain. It's we're going to have more calls where we'll talk more about that in the future, but Jarvis was a key component in us being able to do this. And so now I'm going to stop talking and let Jarvis take it away and show you what he's got.
Thank you, Tanner, for the introductions. So do you mind me sharing my screen?
Go for it. Take it away. Now, guys, while Jarvis is sharing, I'm going to be quiet through most of this, but you know me, I can't help but butt in from time to time. So I'll add little tidbits as we go through, but this is Jarvis's game for right now.
Okay, thank you.
I see your screen, and I can see your presentation now.
Sure. Let me share the slides.
Yep.
Okay.
Loading. All right, we're good.
I think it's important for us to start a few disclaimer. That's really important in these days. I think it's really important that we understand that we are not asking or providing any financial advice or asking you to do anything that we don't want to be offended by any legal issue. And the second thing is that I want to make sure everyone is that because this is such a fast pace in the crypto world that a lot of things are changing. Since we talked to Tanner about the game development for many months, but there are so many things changing. So we have a lot of things that is changing in a lot of gaming side and also rental sides. So we are going to have changes, but we will inform. But please be aware there will be any changes in the future, and we will disclose to you as much as possible. So I just want to get this out of the way so people can understand where we are and where we are going. But before that, I want to share the team with everyone here. So today I will be presenting about the beta version of the version 1.0 of the Mech.Game, and myself as a business operation for the company. And also I'll introducing my partner, the CEO of Platinum X, Mr. Nalia Takemura-san, and also the game design lead, Lorenzo. So overall, I want to give a little bit background about myself. I think it's so important as a company, as people, as what it triggered me to join the team is that the transparency. As Tanner has mentioned, that transparency is so important in the crypto world. We are not hiding behind anything or anywhere. The transparency is super important for myself and for the team and also for Mr. Tanner. And my background has been a lot of a big company such as SAP. It's a German company who does a lot of ERP. It's called Enterprise Resource Planning Company. We sell $1 million of big enterprise software. And I was a solution architect in the 2000s with SAP Japan. My goal was to innovate. My goal was to present a solution that enabled the company to grow from a $10 million up to $30 million using innovations, using softwares. And that was my job. I need to build things, being an architect that build all the component and transform. And after that, I was working with Accenture, which is one of the biggest consulting firm in the world. And I was the project manager. During that time, I learned how to proceed management in projects, especially how to control budget, how to control the flow of the system, and also how to do a lot of delegation and negotiation. Then I work with Microsoft. We work a lot of business development, transformation, innovation. I was working in Singapore, Japan, and also US. So I was doing a lot of exposure for many technology. During that time, I start to have a passion for investment, have passion for DeFi, have passion for making more legitimate investment, and also become an investor myself. So I was fortunate enough to work with Tanner and also the team in Japan, Planting Eggs. We are becoming a partner, and I also become an international advisor for them, for the company. So I am the person becoming not only for the game side, for the make games, and also responsible for the game side. So I'm like both way of part of a company moving forward. So I think my goal for this call is that be sure if you want to be assured that Tanner and I and the team is going for 3-year span, and also the growth for the next 3 to 5 years, creating an innovation company. As Tanner has mentioned, we transit from simple gaming company becoming a platform company. And how can we achieve that? By building a proper infrastructure for everything. So combining the mobile side and also the platform side, that we will be presenting the first draft to the team here. And I wish in the future that we can expand into more structured way, such as we have overload within the community, and gradually we will assign different team and people in the whole structure, running more like a company, but at the same time as a DAO concept of infrastructures. So we are here to be part of a new company and new baby innovation that we will bridging the iOS, the mobile games and Android games, along with the blockchain infrastructure. So I think it's so important that we have a bigger grant of a vision moving forward. So next, I'm going to introduce Lorenzo. Lorenzo, you there?
Yeah, hello.
You tell me about yourself. And actually, Lorenzo is in Japan now, but he will tell you who he is and where he's from and why he started develop games here. So, hi, Lorenzo, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Jarvis. I'm Lorenzo. I'm from Italy, and I'm living in Japan for like 15 years now. 15 years, yes. And I started to work in a game company when I was 25, I suppose, yeah, 25 at least. But I used to make game by myself from like the first RPG maker that has come out, like in the in 2000, something like that. And yeah, I always had this passion to make games. I always did. I also made like a board game for myself. I made the card games like with papers, just writing down. I used to do Dungeon Dragon Master for my friends. We drawing the dungeons, and during the school, when we had time, we used to play Dungeon Dragons in school as well. But yes, I also I'm also had interest in programming, so I used to study a little bit of Photon, Java, C++, C#, etc. And I became more used to Unity. With that, I had the needs of a 3D modeling artist. That's why I also became study 3D model by myself. And I had the basic skill to make some really simple indie games. That's why I'm used to also make indie games for myself. Okay. And yes, I'm start to work in a game company here in Japan when the first time was for a social game company, and I used to do the planning side, so the direction, and we used to make we also did localizing as well. And after that, I entered Platinum Hag, and I started to make my own game.
Can you please kick that guy? Fred Dan.
Yeah, he was being kind of, I think he screamed. I don't really know.
Who is it, guys? And we'll boot him. I can't figure out who it is.
Fred's name, I think.
Yeah, I bet you I can guess who it is.
He keeps changing his name.
Okay, sorry. And yes, I also made an Android game by myself, where I made the assets, the cars, the design, except the sound that I need some guy because I didn't have time to do. I didn't have time to do to study sound as well, to make music as well. But yes, I started with the Platinum Hag, and I directed an NFT-based metaverse project. And yes, that's all. And now I'm working on the Mech.Game. I'm very excited. I really like the game. I try my best to make it the more fun as possible for everyone.
Okay, thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
So
Jarvis, hang on one sec.
Okay.
Guys, a little thing about Lorenzo. He literally loves and cares about this game. Like he was working late last night. Today it's Saturday. He's on with you guys. Like this is what he does. And his job really is to take all the stuff that Jarvis and I are like, oh, let's do this. And he's like, yeah, but is it fun? And does it work? And then he makes it, helps us put it all together into a system that works. So he's really kind of downplaying his importance in the way the game is coming together. He's very, 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 very helpful. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Right. The hardest thing is that we are trying to use the actual NFT character that is 3D models. And that can be reflect the actual movement and actual weapon component and slot into the games. That is the hardest part, I think. So anyway, thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you, guys.
And next, we are going to introduce Mr. Nadia-san. Are you there?
Oh, okay.
Hello,
yeah, nice to meet
Takemura-san.
you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm Naria Takemura. Nice to meet you. I'm a CEO of my company, Platinum Egg. That is a basically game company and established at 2002. We have 20 years experience for game development, and now we are focusing especially for blockchain game development, and we have more than 5 years experience for this business. This is so few companies, and now we are developing Mech.Game, and we believe this will be the great game in this market. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Takemura-san, Mr. Nadia-san. I think he asked me to explain a little bit about the company. So please allow me to have 5 minutes to introducing the company. But you have to remember, Mr. Takemura-san was saying the company was established more than 20 years ago. Can you imagine there was no iPhone 20 years ago? There's no any app store, anything like that 20 years ago. And he's already building a mobile games. So I want everyone to be aware that he is a very sophisticated person and also company who have a lot of expertise building iOS and Android games. I met with Mr. Takemura when I was in a seminar with a blockchain expo or something, or blockchain discussion. He was doing a play to earn horse racing game during that time. That's way before anything is happening, before the blockchain is officially released. I think, right, that's about 2015. Yeah, maybe 15.
I think so.
Something like that. So as he said, I want to touch on a few points here. I hope it's big enough. So the company was established in 2002. And sorry, let me adjust this. And I think Tanner mentioned the company, the customer are from Bandai, Namco. These are the huge company in Japan. So they are basically OEM, ODM, and also partner with this big company. And this also some of the early stage that they are the only company who is knowing how to build mobile games. So they are specialized in game design and game planning and graphic design. And but as time move on, they have transitioned from a mobile gaming company into a blockchain gaming in the past few years. And as you can see, the company started from 2002, 8, 9, 10, all the way to here. And these are the few projects that have been done in the iOS and Android. And I'm just going to go through quickly with all the titles and results of all these games that built for these big companies. And I want to emphasize, game is like buying a car. When you want to build a game, it's like you can spend 30,000 or 300,000 or 3 million or 30 millions. So it's so different and complex in the way we want to have a lean games but interesting and move forward to attract people from the free-to-play side, and then along the way we attract more investor. So as you can see, making a game is not easy because there's always a budget restraint moving forward. So as you can see, there are big names like Xbox, PSP here. As you can see, these are mega project with a huge budget moving forward. So that's why I have discussed with Mr. Takemura-san, how can we move forward as quickly as possible? Initially, let me tell you a story. I told him, can we have the game before October 17th? And he told me it's impossible. Most of the game, the planning phase will take up to 3 months. And then you need to find a proper designer and to move forward. But we only have 60 days to deliver to a first prototype, which all the people will be able to touch and feel this month. So that's something I want to say thank you to Mr. Takemura-san. Okay, so I think I don't want to go over all these profile because the resume already proven their capability to move forward.
Basically,
so
if you can't read it, guys, it just says that they've developed a lot of games for a lot of really big companies.
Yep, thank you. So this is just some mobile games before blockchain has even happened. Okay, anyway, I don't want to make anyone dizzy. So there's a lot of different games for mobile, traditional games. In 2014, gradually iOS games, Android games, and gradually they moved to blockchain in the 2015 and move forward and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going back to my slide. So thank you, Mr. Takemura-san, and I'm going to be working very closely with you and Lorenzo to move forward. Okay, that's the update. I think here Lorenzo will help us to discuss the game overview, and myself, this is a version 1.0, and I want to explain about what we did for the past 60 days and where we are going for the next 3 to 6 months up to 1 year. So I want to give everyone an overview that Mr. Tanner and I have already discussed 2 months ago, how the company should go, what's our strategy moving forward. So I want to share this today with everyone here. So initially, we are looking at the Mech games. There are 8 types of the Mech games. And then there are different production of different NFT collections. And there are different types of rarities and different weapon slots. And there are different management status for each Mech games. So initially, we look at these 10,000 pieces at initial time. How do we identify each component and rarity? How can we bridge that into a games? So that we spent about a week or so looking into the Mech game itself. And I still remember, I asked Tanner, do we need to have the actual NFT playing in the games? And he said yes. And how can we do that within the mobile games? And enough to bring all the metadata, bridging everything that people can experience what they own in the mobile games. So that we were discussing about that for how we can have the good customer journey and experiences for everyone. Not just buying pictures of 3D design, but actual using in the mobile games. So we look into the Mech, and then we finalize an overall structure of how we want to build the games. So I want to briefly explain this draft. First of all, on the left side, you can see we will have a rental system with the staking components. And rental system with the staking, that is a component that we will build as a separate through the games. And from the mobile side, we will have a profile page, and we will have a Mech management system and a rental system. And then in the first phase of a battle types, I call this the game types, we will have a regular daily battles. And then we have a mechanism of Mech damaging and repair and all the fun things that we can play with our Mech. And this is the initial first phase that people can experience this month as a prototype. Then we will ask the overload, and we will divide into different teams for the overload to test the prototype with us this month. And then we'll make it better. We will using the Kaizen approach to make things more efficient and lean through the Kaizen process. So that's something I want to share with everyone. So Tanner, do you have feedback on this first stage?
No, and guys, I no feedback on this, but just to give a little more clarity, guys, when the website goes live, there'll be more elaboration on this. Also in the white paper, there's some elaboration on this to give you some more details. And the other thing is what Jarvis is going through right now, guys. The screenshots, the pictures and stuff like this, these are just like the test images, test elements. Nothing is finalized yet. You're not seeing the end result or any of that stuff yet. So just like the screenshots I've been showing you in the Discord, understand that these are not finals. These are missing a lot of the different elements and things like that. So this is just the taste and just we're just giving you bare bones of the beta.
Okay, thank you. So overall, we have the 3 major components of the game design and the game cycle that I consider. First part is the rental system. The rental system will be communicating with the Android mobile games. This is where I think this is one module of a technology and the system that we will be building. And everything beside here is on the game types. Okay, we will have a battle, daily battle, or different interesting battle types. Allow people to own or to play depending on what kind of NFT collection you have. What does that mean? In the future, you will have a multiple collections of NFTs. In order for you to play certain games, you need to try to collect different as much NFT collection as you can. For example, we have Genesis NFT, then we will have a drone, then we will have a stronghold. Each of NFT will have its own unique utilities, plus combination of utility for different NFTs. Okay, so the rental system is designed to do that. We qualify people to play certain games. We qualify people to access certain part of the games. That is also in the initial infrastructure design. And the second stage that we will be planning on the phase 2 and phase 3, we'll be discussing about forging mechanism and stronghold. And also we will have something very interesting as what we call the avatar, meaning the pilot, the commanders. How can we enhance the gaming experiences by move to earn, by activity to earn, by something else, yeah, whatever. But anyway, there are a lot of phases that we are moving forward for the game. And then also we are building the infrastructure as we move along. Okay. Is there any feedback or questions?
I think we're good.
Great. So just remember the game cycle, and then we will gradually dissect into different modules and different components and different pieces. And at the end, you can see the whole puzzle into a whole complete infrastructure pictures and the game cycle. Just kind of remember, we have a rental system, we have a game types. Then in the future, we will have the stronghold and also the avatar, commander, and pilot. Each component will have certain requirement on the NFT that you have to acquire, and then it's becoming more like a utility for spatial membership for you to have to access certain things. Okay, so I think I don't want to spend so much time on the roadmap and schedule right now, but I'm going to give you a very quick look. Let me see. So this is an internal document, but I just want everyone to know that we are putting a lot of functions and also discussion with Tanner, Mr. Tanner, and also the team. How do we map out, like, for example, July, August, and what to do, move on in the September. Right now, we are doing the beta testing and the integration for October the 17th, the releasing time for people to allow overload to testing. And then we are doing a lot of API connections and also other things. We are putting each of a component into a strategic timeline, and then depending on the timeline and resources, we are putting everything, every pieces of a component and parts into a schedule. And by looking at the schedule, we have an overview, and then we track by doing a PDCA check, and by doing what we should do in a very precise way, and with a proper project management. that we move forward for the gaming and also the experience that we can provide. So I believe the concept of, when SpaceX, they try to launch into the outer space, they keep trying shooting the rocket out. They blow up the rocket, they collect the data, they blow up again, and they collect the data. By collecting the data and trial and error, they are able to move as faster and even faster than the NASA space shuttle program in the past. That's what we are doing. We are testing, we are providing the trial and error moving forward for the whole experience for the company and to move forwards. So I think next Lorenzo will explain to us about the overall, what do we have an expectation for our prototype. But before that, I want to emphasize few keywords that we kind of need to remember when we use. There's a free-to-play users, NFT Genius owner. We have something called Gem, Crystal, Metal, Credit Point, and credit token, Mech token, and we have something called dynamic conversion rate, enable you to exchange credit points to credit token. And then this exchange rate is agile. We, depending on the economy, we were able to have a proper enough data in the future that can be automated convert into a proper ratio depending on the tokenomic. So these are very agile part of component that will be having something very dynamic doing the conversion rate. Then we have something called the game server called game token to communicate between the game server and then also communicating with the rental system. And then each rental system, we have a profile token integration, allow we to talk to each other. And in the future, we will have something also called the staking rewards. So, Mr. Tanner, do you have feedback on this?
Nope, everything sounds good. It's right on the money.
Great. So, Lorenzo, can you explain to us what we have designed so far for the game types, the daily game types?
Sure. Well, this one will be the first, as already has been said, this will be the first mission of the Mech.Game, and in the future will be more missions. This one will be the PvE mission, so the man versus the environment, so against the computer. And the mission we have 4 stages. And every stage will be made by 5 battles, which the 5th one will be a boss. So every mission will have 4 bosses for every. So yes, every and for a total of 20 battles. And every time you will defeat a boss, you will get a reward crate. And these crate will reward you with some credit points, and we are also thinking or more weapons in the future, and adding like some maybe NFT goods as well. And yes, also every time. Should I go? Oh yeah, okay, I think I can go. And every time you complete a battle, you have to repair your mech to go back to the next battle. And you will have also a free-to-play mech, so a default mech that could be used as well. And it will provide you the almost the same experience, but of course it will not be so strong as an NFT mech, and as well it will not grant you any credit point as well. So it will be free to play only, but without earning, or at least for now. Maybe in the future we can also add something. I have to check it. And so yes, you can also earn metals and other type of materials rewards. Yeah, exactly. other materials, so you can repair your mech, or you will be able to upgrade your weapon in the future. And the as well, this game has been, if you ever play it, it's similar to Warhammer 40K, the Free Blade. It's an app game. It's on Android and iOS. The game will be this mission type will be on a rail, so the mech will will walk in is a direction. I think, yeah, it will walk in the path, in the designed path, but this path and the environment will be changed every time because it's randomly selected. And so you have to yes, so the mech will work by itself. You have to decide, the main focus will be to decide which weapon you want to use, which so what equipment you want to put on your mech, because every weapon and every enemy will have resistance and a weakness. So you have every type of weapon have a different type of damage that could be advantages for defeating some type of bosses or enemies as well. So you have to decide well in your management, in your hunger, with which type of weapon you want on your mech. As well, the weapon that you have on a mech that you own, you can also use it on other mech. That's something that we are working on at the moment. And yes, do you think, Tanner-san, you think you wanna okay, you wanna show the demo later?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll go through the rest of the slides and then we'll do the demo.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So with what he's saying here, guys, like every little thing. Now, this is just the initial game mode. Remember, this is the game type, and there's going to be 3 game types to start, or not to start, but the first 3 we're already mapping out. This is the first one. This is the one to get it fast to market for you guys. And then from there, we'll roll out the PvP Cauldron Arena battles. We'll do the multiplayer different things, or the you know, drone battles, and start adding in all the other ones. This first one, though, we modeled similar to the Warhammer 40K Free Blade, which is a very, very engaging game type. And it's, although it's an automated movement process, but your map is randomized, your enemies are randomized, all of that, there's still a massive skill-based component. One of the things that Lorenzo has spent a massive amount of time on, I had no idea how much time it was going to take, was with the mechs, we have so many different types of weapons. Lorenzo kind of, his eyes got real big and his mouth dropped open when he saw how many weapons we had at the first time, because every weapon he had to go through and establish, you know, damage, rate of fire, reload, dispersion, damage area. Is it a, you know, projectile damage, or is it an area damage like a flamethrower? And he had to do all of that stuff. And then he had to go to the enemies and go, okay, when you shoot an enemy with this weapon, what happens? When the enemy attacks a mech with this kind of armor, what happens? All of that is going into each different level of this. So that's the kind of stuff that Lorenzo has been doing and making it work. And now with the ability that they're building right now to equip your mech with different weapons. Right now, you'll be able to swap weapons between mechs, but later on, you'll be able to either build, buy, earn, find additional weaponry, new weaponry, and change the loadouts of your mechs as we go.
So just a little bit feedback. I think the first game, the daily game type, is emphasizing for what kind of weapon that you should choose depending on your weapon slot in order for you to defeat the boss or to kill your enemies. So that would be the agenda for these daily game types. So the weapon management and the strength and the weapon strength and the power scaling management is in progression into this game type. So I'll show a demo later. So this is the first 10 type, and that is automate, but there's different path that will define the difficulty of you clear each mission and clear each stage. So it's all depending on your choices of the weapon selections.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay, so I think Lorenzo and the team have to go to in other meetings, but I think you can stay here if you want, but we can continue the conversation.
Yeah, we can keep going. Lorenzo, Mr. Takimura, thank you so much for being here with us today. You got to hop off, no worries, but thank you for helping us, and we appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Just for let you know, there are almost 18 type of weapon, different weapons, and I already work on every single of them to give them every differences to every weapon, so you can enjoy every type of weapon independently. And as well as the weapon management will be very important, will be also important the way you decide to kill the enemies. So you need to be focused on the enemies and check which enemies you want to defeat first, because it will be really important, because some enemies will have a really high damage, and if you don't defeat them in time, you will get a lot of damage back. So it's also like also yes, management, but also tactical. So you have to check, you have to be focused.
Good point. Yeah, great point.
I didn't know that. You are making the game so difficult for us to buy and choose the proper weapons. Okay, so there are 18 choices. I didn't know that. You're going to use all the 18 combinations and also the different difficulty of the enemies. Then people need to switch back and forth to defeat the enemies. So
yes,
that's a good point.
And I hope we can add more weapons as soon as possible, because the weapons are so fun. I want at least other 100 of them.
Yes,
totally. 100. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, I have to go.
No worries,
And,
Lorenzo. We'll see you later.
Okay. So I just want to also emphasize, you need to remember, we are selling something that's a 3D animate on OpenSea. It's a 3D animation NFT, but we are trying to bring all the rarity and also weapon types and also the choice of the strength when you combat into the iOS environment. It's like you're talking to Chinese people and Russian people. You don't understand each other, but how do we connect that through a proper connection with API connection that, and then also with the security that you connect with API and encryption. That is something we figured out 2 weeks ago. We have to enhance the encryption between these two platforms. So I want people to be aware with that, because we are building an infrastructure company, not just a singular gaming company. That's very, very important. Okay.
Yep, we're good.
So I want to give a brief summary of the customer journey from the game side. Game application side, we will have a sign up process. The sign up process will in asking for email registrations. And once you insert email, a default password will be sent for you to verify. And you can log in into a profile page, and then you can update your password. And when that happens, automatically the system will generate UID, a unique ID, to confirm you are eligible, you are confirmed to play this game. And you can later input a MetaMask if you are a NFT owners, or you rent an NFT, or you want to play to earn. So we are enhancing the experience that a regular free-to-play people can also come and join for the sign up. Then as experience goes, we will have alert and pop up asking you if you want to rent a Mech, or you want to become a play to earn players will become a scholar. That's something we can upsell or through the email marketing because we have their emails. So once you decide to become a play to earn person, you insert your MetaMask, then you connect with the rental system. And then when you click connect, a encrypt game token will be generated for you. And you need to use that encryption game token to insert into a rental system to validate you that you are enabled to use your own MetaMask wallet, and whatever you have in the MetaMask wallet, it will have the proper NFT collection, allow you to be rental or leasing or put out on the marketplace. It sounds very easy. It's only 5 steps, but there's a lot of things behind here. Okay.
We're good.
So what, any feedback and any question, if anyone? I'm looking at the chat.
I'm looking at the chat. There's I
Okay.
don't see any questions direct to that. People are asking if a Ledger wallet can be connected or do they have to use MetaMask? And I just said that the tech details will release later.
Sure. We prefer using MetaMask. Okay, for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the game side. And I want to give a demo.
Oh, yes.
To
You're going to show
the
the
people.
videos?
Yes.
Okay, well, Jarvis is queuing these up, guys. I want to, again, reiterate, because some people seem to miss it. What we're about to show you are some demo clips of different aspects of the game screen, the game functions and stuff like this. Understand, this is not final. Most of it, like the land you see, the sky you see, the trees you see, the stuff, it's not the final stuff. It's just a low resolution, quick render to get it out so we can show it to you. Sometimes the mechs won't have weapons on them. When they shoot, you're going to see them shooting these gray balls. That's not the weapon, the bullet or anything like that. That's literally just used for the game formation, so you can track how they're pointing and where it's shooting. So all this stuff is just a quick example. It doesn't have all the fancy effects, the sounds, all that stuff. This is not the final art. This is just placeholder art.
Yes.
So just understand that this is not the finals. This is just the placeholder stuff that we're giving you the behind the scenes look, because Jarvis and I thought it was very important to show you, hey, here's what we're actually doing. Even though if we were following the rules of traditional game deployment, we would not show you this stuff, because this is early pre-alpha type stuff, and it doesn't meet the retail look that we would want to show somebody. But we're doing this because you're holders and we want you to see it. Does that make sense, guys? Are you guys with me on that? I want to make sure you understand what we're talking about here. This is not the end final product. Okay, take it away, Jarvis.
Yeah, as I say, I don't want to be a perfect NASA space shuttle to show you the things. I want to give you the feel and transparency that what we have been doing the past 60 days. And I don't think it's fair as myself, as an investor, or as all of you are investor for the company, for the NFT, that not to show anything and then you just feel like, okay, is this project still going or not? I don't want ever to have any doubt for anybody to feel like they are not on track and that we are not doing anything. But actually we are doing a lot of things behind the scenes. But from now on, I want to share, and I will be taking more time to help Mr. Tanner to give more community services that within the Discord that we will have overload. We will release an announcement that very soon Overload will be helping us to divide into different teams to move things forward and have more transparency and allow people to understand what is behind the scene. So this is a very first draft that I want to show from beginning to what we have now. So what you are seeing this, actually we already had this 30 days ago. were 45 days ago. We already have this, but I want to share that experience with you, that what we built in the past and what we have now. So 45 days ago, we already shown this to Mr. Tanner. This is concept when people log in, as I mentioned, on the game site, people were logging using email, because as a online marketing 101, you want to capture the email address. So we will enable to capture email address for the future update or any future promotion. And the future promotion will become part of a company revenue, as we'll be sharing towards the Mech token values in the future. So we are capturing the traditional email here. And once people tracking email, register, okay, you create email and password, okay, then you will come to a game environment. But this is outdated. This is a first draft of Hangar and the first placement of the things. When you come into the environment, you start to play the game, you will see this dashboard, okay? And in the dashboard, there's a lot of other things, but this is not even good enough. This is early 35 days ago draft. We have something much more interesting coming out. And then once you move forward, then we are looking different management. Okay, here, this is also very, very old. This is the first placement that everyone will have a default Mech. A default Mech meaning anybody who register will enable them to become a free-to-play, F2P, free-to-play person. But we want to capture the email. We want to upsell in the future. So everybody will have a default Mech when they enter to our game environment. Then once you connect, once you have a game token, that's where the magic happens. That the NFT collection, what you own, whatever you have listing on the rental side, will reflect through an encryption to reflect the actual photo of the Mech into the Hangar. Okay. And I'm going to show the next phase. Okay, this is how people will be feel and look about the Hangar and equipment, the weapon types. I just heard there's 18 types of a weapon that we can choose for the first type of prototype, for the first type of game types, to strategically set it a proper, of course, this is all mock-up. This is not a real photo for the actual weapon types. We will have the metadata from the NFT, and then through that, we will have each weapon type to be shown at each type. The Mech can be equipped onto the battle.
Jarvis, stop, pause for 1 second. Guys, another thing that's really cool about these weapons that Lorenzo has been working on is there's also each weapon and different rarity of the weapon. They can have specialty damages or specialty uses or specialty functions that will be indicated by badges on the different weapon types. This was something that Lorenzo had the idea for. It was not something that Jarvis or I had thought of, and it wasn't part of the original Mech design. But so now he's taken it a whole nother level of deeper. Besides all the base stats, now there's these extra levels of specialty function or specialty damage or specialty features that are added based on badges to each of these different weapons. And you can select, mix, match, do all that stuff. So super, super cool what they're doing.
Exactly. So imagining the first game type that people will be experiences is something like similar. Which weapon type should I choose in order for me to successfully defeat the whole mission? The mission average time is about 50 minutes. And then each mission type allow you to choose a difficulty. Of course, the computer will randomize the difficulty of the path that you have to go over different area to defeat the enemies. But each randomness of the path is depending on how strategically, how you're going to choose the weapon type to defeat into the different scenario. And that is a lot of combination that you can play through experiences. We can play through your whatever weapon that you have to become more strategic players in the future. Okay. So here is the different weapon type. Where are you going to put this? The placement. So I remember Tanner was saying that we are so precise that we have 6 locations on different mech where the placement of the mech machine gun should be look good when you play the games. That's some kind of details that we want to emphasize. Okay. So as I say, this is 6 months, 45 days ago, we already have this blueprint. We already decide to do certain things. And then as I want to share this is the internal document. When we look at the mech, we have these different type. Okay, for example, this is ID number A724. And A724, the mech number A724 is a model type of Goliath. The classification is Genesis. The type is this, the design, the color, and whatever batch and accessory. And this specific A724 mech have 4 weapon slots, but this enable them to do 5 and 6. Then I have 4 now, but in the future, can I put more on the slot 5 and 6? And the rarity is score is 117. So they determine the power and strength of this mech when you go play. These
Jarvis.
are all the variables that we are looking at the Genesis mech.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So guys, one thing I wanted to say about this. So this is a perfect example. So this 8724 mech Goliath has 4 weapons equipped on the NFT. So when this NFT was minted, it had 5 and 6 empty, right? Now the NFT itself, if Jarvis owns this NFT and he sells it to me, okay, I'm going to buy it. This is what he's going to sell me. It's going to be this exact configuration. But in the game, Jarvis owns this NFT. He can go into the hangar and into the marketplace or the exchange, and he can go buy 2 additional weapons that he likes. And then in the game, in the mech hangar, equip them on this mech and use it with all 6 weapon slots in the game. But if he goes to sell it, he either has to sell it as a bundle where he sells the mech plus the 2 extra weapon NFTs, or he sells just the mech and then he still has the 2 extra weapon NFTs, right? So when you add a weapon to a mech in the game, it does not change the actual Genesis mech itself, the traditional NFT, and it does not change its rarity or any of those things. It changes its use and everything in the game. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Thank you for the feedback. The purpose of what we are doing this such a detailing of the infrastructure compared to the excitement of the game itself, because we want to build the values of a Genesis mech. As investor myself, I'm thinking, how can I protect my Genesis mech? How can I increase this as a asset? An asset by define is giving you profit, giving you income as you rent this asset out without depreciations. That's a definition of an asset that enable you to provide a cash flow for you. But in order to provide a cash flow for you, how do you predetermine or enhance the value of the mech? That was my primary agenda moving forward, to protect all the investors, all the people who are in the community for the Genesis holder. Not to mention about forging, but itself the value that how do we sustain, not depreciate, but increase its value along through the gaming experiences. Okay. As you can see, okay, now this is the other Mech. It's 3219. I think we just changed the number, right? 3219.
Yep.
5055. And it's just simply showing not just only the color combination, but the characteristic of each Mech. We have to enhance that 10,000 with all the rarity and also rarity ranking, also all the component of the weapon slot into the games only for 45 days.
So guys, you can tell the team, even though you may not, you've seen the stuff I've posted, there has been a massive amount of development going on in the back end.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. But imagine I have 50 mechs, for example, and each account allow me to do certain things. Of course, all the mech have to be repaired. And you can always have mech to repair in the hangar, but you can use only one account into your hangar garage. You can swipe left and right to play against. Use while you are repairing your mech, you can alternative to choose the second mech to play the games, to complete the missions under your own garage of the mech management. Yes, yeah, thank you, Chris. I mean, I'm reading the things. So there are so many components and then a lot of things, and in conjunction, how do we provide a proper metric for the strength of a weapon and the strength of a defeat, also damage scale, where all those variable into these 10,000 pieces. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to close this for. And next, I want to share something like, why do I have this? I want to share. Okay, this is the early stage of a battle. I'm going to share this with you. This is about beginning of September. 4 weeks ago, we have a check on the environment, a check on the actual mech moving in the games. So here is a placement on the right-hand side. You can see the weapon selection, main weapon 1 and 2, and second weapon, depending on the slot that people you equip before you engage the games. And we are looking at the movement of actual mech in the game environment, in the game structure. You don't have to look at the rocks and also the environment yet and the color. Ignore that, but just look how we want to mimic the movement. And the most hard thing here is the camera angles. The camera angles, how going to defeat with the future enemy. It's much simpler to move your finger when you want to control a mech in the game, compared to an automation movement with a randomness, with a difficulty path, an easy path, and super complex path. I just realized the automation is much harder. The logic behind is much harder than the manual movement. Yeah, Tanner, we discussed this a few days ago. We just realized that, right? So
yes, how much harder this was, yeah.
And Okay, then what happened? Don't care about this enemy, right? What happened if enemy approach you? How can you use the shooting and which angle and which direction you supposed to move and to compete and to shoot with all this enemy? This is the test that we were doing 4 weeks ago. Okay, if aggressive component, this we call this object. The object can hold different things. How many objects supposed to be appear into the game stage? How many aggression supposed to do? This is without any visual effect, nothing. We are just testing different component, the weapon and also the movement of a mech 4 weeks ago. And as you can see, it's automated. The mech is moving in certain direction, but which you are going to encounter different enemy at different location. And in the future, different location will have different crate. As a bonus crate, you can shoot it for the future. Okay. So this is the demonstration. If we have multiple objects, different enemy coming towards forward, how the weapon, main weapon switch, how do you define the movement of a weapon? How do we do that? So this is a test for that. Okay. So is mech move too slow, too fast? And how do we have a proper angle? See the angle shift again, the camera angle shift. And this is also from different angle, from different objects, looking at how we have the more excitement through different angle. How do we predefine the shooting angle or the view when you're looking at the games?
And again, guys, remember, these are not the animations or the firing effects or the bullets or the enemies or any of that stuff. None of those are, these are just test effects.
And as I mentioned, this is the test for us 4 weeks ago to look how the mech will look like, how the mesh, the color, the placement of NFT, the color, the metadata, how will that be showing, look. I don't know if this is, we are looking at the PC right now, but we are looking at the mobile phone. The size of the screen is much smaller. Of course, we will become more higher resolution, but even though you are looking through a PC, the mesh of the color and the whatever for the mech is already kind of amazing.
Yeah. So it's only going to get better when it gets reduced down to mobile.
And then this is a testing for a flying object. How would the flying object, the angle of the weapon supposed to shoot at a certain degrees? So these are the minor adjustment we are moving forward to make things better and better and better. Okay, this is 4 weeks ago. Then let's take a look what we have come so far within 1 week. This is last week. Look at this. I will show this again. Did you see that small motion? That the mech shift from lower to like, it's very small component, but I kind of like this movement. And when this move comes in, you see the different landscape has changed. Right now, we are doing a testing for the weapon selection. When will the weapon selection, how do we see the bullet running out of this scenario? How the encounter and enemy, how the shooting angle, and how the weapon being reload. How do you reload the weapon? See, as you shoot, the number drops, right?
It shows your ammunition capacity and drops as you shoot.
Yes, and now if we have more aggressive component, we are testing which type of enemy will require you use certain type of weapon in order for you to defeat them. This is a test for that. Okay, and we are testing different things, how this will feel and do the angle, but of course we'll make it more grotesque in the future.
And these enemies there's no damage meter being done on the enemies. It's just you shoot them and they die in this test. And then you can obviously see when they're shooting, those big gray balls, like I talked about, are going past, right? And they keep going. That's, again, part of the testing. So we make sure the angle is right and everything else. And then that will be not visible when the game is actually playable.
But I want everyone to take a look. The first clip I show you and this clip. Look at the resolution and the lighting and the camera angle has improved so much. Right? And it's like watching a movie. When we see movie, we see lighting and we see different camera angles. It provides a different visual effect when you look at movie or when you play games. So in this scenario, you see tap to reload here. Okay. And Mech is moving more aggressively and more faster, and yeah, and you look at the rock and environment structure is more in details, and this each component is manually however modified. See, this weapon type is loading. This need to be a reload. And as mentioned, there are 4 different stage, yeah, and 4 different huge boss. And when you complete these whole things, we call a mission complete. And then you get a 1 mission when you defeat. If you're good enough, this 1 mission will take you about 50 to 60 minutes. And then now we are testing different angle and weapon type. And the lighting here, yeah. See, it's getting darker through different camera angles, and then it's much semi, and then you try to look at the lightings and the environment. And now the game type is automated. And the next phase, we are thinking about a peer-to-peer battle. And then imagine there are different, your teammates are hiding in a maze. You try to achieve a flag, or you try to achieve a crate, and then it's becoming a peer-to-peer battle, peer versus peer, PvP, yeah. So this, once we have this structure built out, we can develop a lot of very quickly, develop a lot of different game type to move forward. Okay, so that's 1 week ago. And last night, we did this. Last night, we did this. Did you see there's a weapon here? Okay. Previously, we did not have different weapon types here, I think.
Nope, there were no weapons on the mechs previous.
Right? So now we are putting different weapons, weapon selection. Okay. And in the future, this is going to be so much interesting once we have this. Look at this lighting we did here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, Japanese. Yeah.
Lots of attention to detail, guys. Like everyone working on this project takes pride in what they're doing. It's not a matter of how can we just whip something out quick and crappy. We're not developing a blockchain game. We're developing something real.
And this kind of nice shadowing effect and whatever. And yeah, anyway. In the future, I want to bring this to AR. So that's why we have this kind of placement in the future. So, and this lighting, I think they are doing some, see lighting here, small lighting here. It's very minor things, but you guys, this is why we are kind of, want to make this beautiful. Yeah. So that's a very quick demo. but we already have been talking more than 1 hour and a half.
I think you have one or two more slides, Jarvis? Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We have a demo for rental systems.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, very quickly, I'm going to show you the rental system. Okay. Why do I have this thing here? Okay. This is a testing environment. And of course, the rental system, we are connecting into a testing network. And one thing I want to mention about this system, how do I delete this? I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm not sure why that's popping up, Jarvis. It looks like almost like you drew on your screen.
Can I delete? Oh, okay, delete.
There, it's
I drew
gone.
something. Yeah, I drew something. Okay, so here, the things I want to discuss, right now, we are enabled for cross-chain, meaning we will have ERC20 and Matic chain. In the future, we can have a BNB. And when we design this, I discussed with Mr. Tanner. I suggest him that we should not look at this rental system as a singular rental system for Mech.Games only. We should build out as an infrastructure management system for different games. That will enable us to bring future partners that who have no rental system, and they can just plug into our system and play the rental services, working as more like a SaaS, service as a services type of business model. But we are doing something called BaaS, blockchain as a services. How can we build an infrastructure that present more as a blockchain as a services in the future and scale this through a rental system? That was a discussion we had about 2 months ago. So we did it. We built a blockchain as a service rental system. In the future, if any of our partners want to have their games to enable them to provide a rental services, a rental management, we can do it. So it's totally different concept when you want to build something only for yourself or for your future partners, or becoming as a services, as an infrastructure services. That's so different when you try to design the overall structure of the business. So we are enable people who are from either ERC20, Matic, or Binance, BNB in the future. We will support all these 3 chains, but now we have 2. Pretty cool, huh?
And Jarvis is actually connecting right now. This isn't a video. This is all live and functioning, guys.
Now I sign in, and first place you will see is your member details. This UID is pre-assigned through the system.
When you create your account.
When you create an account, and your wallet is automatically linked with your MetaMask. And you have the ID here. See, here is EBCA, EBCA. So this is my testing account. And of course, you can update your avatar, whatever, here. And I want to discuss this issue. It's so hard to do 100% crypto on-chain when we want to integrate with 2 different infrastructure. Mobile game is not a on-chain product. And we are trying to merge with mobile games and rental system. So right now, 70% of the rental system is off-chain and 30% is on-chain. And there are a few things I will disclose in the future, but I just want to enhance this component because we are bridging Web 2.0 and Web 3.0. And in here, as a profile, you connect using the key for MetaMask to connect to account. And in here, you can show all the things that you own with NFT. Okay, here's the kicker. Not only the Mech NFT is going to be showing here, as long as in the future partner, as long as we enhance different smart contract into the system, all the system will be showing up here. It can be our product, it can be a Mech, Genesis Mech, or it can be a drone, or it can be a stronghold. As long as the backend allow these different types of smart contract, these different type of smart contract items can be a rental asset. Is everyone with me?
Yep.
So it means in the future, as long as the company policy, as the company whatever decision, we can release different rental properties.
So yeah, we can incorporate with like collaborative projects when a project wants to come in and like work within the Mech ecosystem, use their NFTs in our projects, or it could be a completely separate thing where someone just uses us as a service and uses our infrastructure. And if they are, and you own some of those NFTs too, they'll show up in your category.
Yes, just imagine it's a rental system for blockchain as a services. And there are more components into this, but the framework is there. I want to, my item is all the NFT you owned. We will change this vocabulary for much more easier understanding. Rental pending, meaning that
rentals you have on the market.
Yeah, I already
Open
list
to be
my
rented.
I already list my item into NFT market. Nobody's rented, and the asset my renting item, I rent from somebody else, and renting in progress is already whatever asset I have is renting out. So it looks very simple here, but there's a lot of things behind the scene. I want to make this a much more user-friendly UI for people to understand, but we will combine everything into one blockchain as a service platform. And next component, the token. This is also going to blow your mind away. We are able to do multiple different types of 2.0 and 3.0 token management here. What does this mean? Right now for Mech.Games, we have a credit points. And credit points allow us to convert into credit tokens. And this will be a singular way allow we to convert credit point to credit token at a certain conversion rate. The conversion rate will be dynamic. We can adjust according to the environment. It can be 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-10 ratio, or whatever. It means whatever you acquire 100 points of credit points in the games, as we company, Mr. Tanner and the economy decide, we'll build out an algorithm for that. The conversion rate will be 1-to-10. It means if you have 100 credit points, allow you to convert to 10 credit tokens. Then we decide if we have 10 credit tokens, the conversion rate to Mech token is 1-to-1. Then we will enable us to convert credit token, 10 credit tokens to 10 Mech token. And only Mech token allow us to do the unit swap in the decentralized exchange or centralized exchange. Vice versa, I can say I want my Mech token converting to credit token, or credit token converting to Mech token, vice versa, two ways. It can a singular way to do transfer or interchangeable between two assets. Okay.
And guys, another just cool little tidbit like he's talking about here, just if you think about this, we have full control. So we can integrate other projects and we could take like, let's, for example, this is not for real, but for example, you could take the coin you earn in Warhammer 40K Freeblade if we were integrated with them. And you could take that and we could set up a conversion in our site here where you could actually convert that Web 2.0 digit or token, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a token, but a Web 2.0 item, and have a conversion rate into an actual Web3 true token. And we could set up that exchange and have it be tracked, and on a distributed ledger, which is just phenomenal if you think about the possibilities of that.
And all the user will have a detailed history to track. We are still doing an algorithm that how often that we want to monitor the rental asset. For example, I want to make sure my 10 meg renting to Mr. Tanner. How long is Mr. Tanner playing my meg? Is he really playing my meg, or is he slacking off, not playing my meg? And how much credit point have he earned? And divided into the sharing component of this system, meaning I will share later that in the rental services, we have two components. It can be a fixed price or can be a ratio profit sharing percentage. But we want to have an analytic database with all the future playing economy that we track as a big data company. Then in the future, once we have enough big data, advertising will be kicking into our economy. We can sell advertising through the website or inside the games. Now that's where the stronghold and also other component will come in. So this component, it looks very simple as a history here, but at the back end, we will start to collect data. It can be a rental record or leasing record, and we want to track who play my Mech and what is the current status and when will the contract end. Everything will be tracked through the back, the big data as for the future, for the advertising purposes. And the setup, very simple. Here is a setup for yourself to do a KYC for the rental system, because we want to get an email. As for any type of marketing, once we have a list, we can upsell.
Which again directly impacts the game revenue and the game treasury.
Exactly. And in the future, I still need to talk to Mr. Tanner about this. Once we do affiliate marketing, right? You know, Tanner is from e-commerce. We were talking about having an easy website and everything will reflect as the credit points or reward points, like American Express mileage card or Amex point. How do we enhance the shopping experience and providing a royalty reward points and convert that into our platform and allow people to buy NFT? Mm-hmm. So we are not pure. I mentioned this many times with Ms. Tanner, is that we should not solely focus on the game economy. We should bring our strength between Web 2.0, e-commerce, Shopify, or whatever email marketing, affiliate marketing, all into our system. And how do we control that? By utilize something called credit points. Okay, and the second component here is another kicker. Right now you see two games here, right? It's called game authentications. And game authentication is something I talked to the Platinum X. For example, if Michael want to have his own game or iOS game, or Mr. Tanner want to have any other games, but how do we connect the games not created by us, or can be created by us as a future contractor for the game types? We can define something called the email address that you already input on the game server, issue a unique game token and game user ID. There will be a game token here in the future to track who you belong to, which games, who you belong, give you the certain right to use your NFT as an in-game play. So what I'm trying to say here, this platform is not only for Mech.Games that we can integrate with our future new game types at a different application, using different email and using different UID and using different game tokens. And we build that all in 45 days. Plus, because I already built some of this IP in the past, that's why I use some of my previous IP that we don't have to build from scratch along with the project today. And personally, I built this IP more than a month in the past. So right now it's available for Mech platforms.
Pretty cool stuff, huh, guys? Like way more than just your, oh, we're building a blockchain game, right? Like so much more happening.
All the money, all the credit points conversion to credit token, basically we are getting information from the traditional database, such as the gaming side, the iOS game, everything is a traditional Web 2.0 database. Through our encryption, we allow people to transfer, or we only allow certain credit points or certain environment through our encryption, transfer that credit point from 2.0 traditional database number into our rental system. Initially, will still be stored in the Web 2.0, and then we allow 2.0 and 2.0 environment server database to talk to each other. Then using our conversion rate and to export or to exchange from a traditional 2.0 data points, credit points into a token. This is where it will happen. As Tanner mentioned, this will allow us to add any 2.0 credit points, any point reward system, anything as long as company validate this business with us as our partner or as our strategic partner, we can always put a 2.0 point system with the proper conversion rate, which is dynamic according to the environment into this exchange. Of course, from this, you can convert it into token. And when that happens, only when that happens, you have to spend gas fee.
And that's another big point, guys. We have done everything we can possibly do to minimize any gas fee transaction that costs you anywhere in the gaming ecosystem. And then on top of that, we're leveraging Polygon as the layer 2 to make it even cheaper when you do have to do gas. So everything we've done is to enhance the user experience and minimize any costs to you while giving you the best experience we can do.
Yes, and now we have staking and NFT marketplace, but this is linking into one of my business right now, because right now Mech don't have a staking license yet. So right now, as you can see, it jumped to a third party. And in the future, as the new company in Dubai have formation, Tanner and I will start to talk about how to build our staking platform through a NFT marketplace. This is a two-in-one system that we built before. So this two-in-one system allows us to build an NFT marketplace only for us. And also in the future, as I mentioned, we can use as a blockchain as a services. What does that mean? You don't need to hire any smart contract users or programmer to write a smart contract to issue token for you. Just come to our platform, how many token, which chain you need, and within 3 minutes, you will have a crypto token identified to your own wallet. And we provide that as the services. So that's something in the phase 2 that we will be discussing more, but the technology and the platform is already in place. So as I say, we are building an infrastructure platform, and 80% of the infrastructure is already there. And we are just making more lean and more into more perfect condition. So that's something we can also discuss in the future. So I think that's something I want to just conclude here, that we are building an infrastructure company. And I think Tanner and I have super high expectation for our company and for our people, especially the Genesis Mech holders. And now we did not even touch on the forging. We did not even talk about the stronghold. We did not even talk about move to earn. Remember, this is just what we did in 40 days. Because when I share this roadmap, we started this project in July the 1st, the 15th, July the 15th. And this where we are now. And this is just very minimum part of the business that we are building with Tanner right now. And remember, we are only in the phase version 1.0.
Yeah, and guys, and remember, if you think about it, some of you guys, when I announced the pivot of where we were going to shift our focus to this mobile environment, some of you guys were worried, some of you guys got scared, you know, you're like, oh, this is going to take forever, or, you know, it's not worth the wait. I think everybody can agree at this point that it was worth the wait to take this pivot for where we're at, where we're going to go, and everything else. Wouldn't you guys agree? Totally. All right. Now, I know we've been on for a long time, guys. There's a couple things just in closing, just to kind of touch on real quick. You're wondering about the sales of the Mech token. We're going to be doing announcing the details of the pre-sales for the Mech token around October 20th. So we're going to have some details on that and allow you guys to get pre-sales of the Mech tokens, use your Mech allocation. We may even allow you guys who are Genesis holders of multiple Genesis to get an extra little top up, maybe get a few more at a discounted rate. But we'll have details of that closer to the 20th of October. All right. Staking, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we're still working on some of the staking legalities, but you're going to get your credit token, which actually will be issued as credit points into the game, which then you can convert. Those credit points that you would be earning from the staking time have been grandfathered in and backdated. So backdated meaning that we're going to just assume all of you were staking from the get-go and all the way through. So you're going to get the full staking allocation of credit points into your account with the game. And we'll have the transfer schedule and all of that. We're going to announce that sometime around October 10th. We'll have a little bit more details of the technical ability of when we can actually put those into your account. Okay.
Yep.
And then the stronghold. Oh, sorry, Jarvis, did you say something?
No, please.
Oh, okay. Stronghold NFT. Remember, that's the third NFT that's going to be released. We have the Genesis Mechs, we have the drones, then the Stronghold, which is a very key component. We've got some really cool stuff planned for modularity of enhancing and growing your stronghold. We're gonna announce details on that around the 10th as well of this month. So a lot of details coming up fairly soon. We've got a lot to do in that time frame, and a lot of key pieces are being put into place. That's why we need those in place before we can dictate a really effective timeline for you guys for those elements. The other thing, all of this is going to kind of come after the, well, actually not all of it, but the Mech tokens portion of this is going to come after the initial release of the game. Okay, the initial release of the game is the prototype or even prior prototype release. We call them a beta, but it's not even actually a beta. It's the early MVP release, minimum viable product. And that is going to be available for gameplay to all overlords and overlords only. So if you have the overlord role in the Discord, you will be one of the first people who are allowed to have early access to the game and be able to basically go through the test cases that we've got, try to break it, things like that. And then from there, you'll be working with Jarvis, myself, Lorenzo, and kind of giving us feedback on some of the different elements of the game. And once we've got that first round of bug testing done, then we'll open it up to all Genesis mech holders to play. But the overlords get the first dibs on touching the game. Jarvis, anything else you wanted to add that I may have forgotten to touch on?
Yeah, give me last minute. Thank you for mentioning about the overload. I think overload will become a very critical component of the future business, because Mr. Tanner and myself are supposedly to be more on the strategic side and business side. And also, we are need to build a more Dubai company, and also talking to investor, and also so. I will be talking to Mr. Tanner and also to Jay Ryans and also some mods here. We will be officially announce the special channel for the overload channels. And then within that, we will start to divide into different team groups. And each group that we will also discuss with Mr. Tanner, each team group supposedly to have its own KPI, KPI that to do certain things. And that each of them will in the future contribute into something called a semi-DAO concept of the company. And that in somehow, somewhere, I will talk to Mr. Tanner that how we're going to allocate the future credit points or credit tokens through this DAO economy. So I want to take away a little bit load from Mr. Tanner and then providing into more team module base of the structure through move forward to the our company and expansion. I think from October up to next January and March, the company will grow super fast. And then there's a lot of PR and marketing and also investment discussion, and all that will happen. And the strength of my time and Mr. Tanner's time is not only building the games and infrastructure, but also we want to has much more exposure to the marketplace, to the non-gaming environment for free-to-play, and also to the NFT market. So we will talk to Jay Ryan, also the mods, and also Tanner about how we're going to divide the teams up. And each team supposed to have a certain specific job and task they need to contribute. And once the job is going to contribute into that team structure, we will provide something like a Kaizen model of structure. You know, each team supposed to have an ambassador, and these team leaders have to do certain things to contribute into the economy. So that will be announced maybe next week.
Yep. And guys, with that, you know, we're going to have more AMAs more regularly moving forward as we have more announcements and things like that, and everything's. But we have like a pretty good tech push over the next, say, 8 to 10 days. So we're not going to be super available for that right away. But we're, you know, once this next thing, we're going to be making the next round of announcements, give you the next round of updates, sneak peeks, that kind of stuff. So stay in the group, stay aware. I'll do my best to get this recording posted maybe, hopefully by tonight, but it might be tomorrow morning. Depends on how long it takes to render. And then I'll get it on YouTube and share the link in the Discord with everybody. And guys, it's starting, it's happening. Everything's about to come right to fruition, and you'll be able to play shortly. So this is the time to tell your friends, get those, grab your last minute mechs if you want. If you need more, you can always hit us up through the channel, you know that, and just let me know. And I loved having you guys here. Jarvis, thank you so much for coming up and helping. I love seeing you on here and getting people to, I mean, I get to talk to you all the time, but getting other people to see what, you know, what you're doing and what you're doing for the game is so awesome. And again, thanks to Mr. Takimura and Lorenzo for being on here. I know they're gone now, but guys, this was great, wasn't it? We've got so much more for you, but we've been on here for like 2 hours. It's Saturday for Jarvis. He needs to go spend time with his wife and having a fun Saturday. And it's bedtime for me. I got to have dinner and then go to bed, get the kids to bed. So for the rest of you, have a great day, great night, and we will see you all soon. See you guys.